Hey, what's up everyone on YouTube? It's Brandon. I'm back with another one. And in this video I'm gonna talk about some of the worst points in my life. Like what people have told me, what other people believe, and what I'd do if I were in control. So let's get into it. For a little bit in 2022, I struggled with my mental health a lot. Like struggling with a lot of anxiety, depression, anger, thoughts of canceling my subscription to Life. I definitely had thought I was struggling with that stuff quite a bit in 2022 and 2023. I struggled with that stuff even more. And then afterwards, it started getting better for a little bit. It got a little worse a little bit, but not as bad as it was. Then it got better again. So I want to talk about this specific time. Back in 2022, I was going to this one church, and I was making disturbing posts on Facebook, and I talked about having thoughts of taking my life in that post. And some of the people at the church reached out to me and tried to help me the best they could. And I can't remember, but I think I said something like, yeah, I had hope that it would get better. I was like, I'm gonna keep going no matter how hard it gets, because one day it'll get better and it'll all be worth it. Until someone told me it won't get better unless you make it better. And ever since then, I've lost all hope. I don't think I'm capable of making it better. I don't think my brain works well enough for me to make it better. So, I don't want to be here anymore. I said something like that, and they told me something like, well, the thing is, Brandon, it will get better. It'll get better whether that happens in this life or whether it happens while you're in heaven. And that's a pretty interesting thing. I know it seems like half the people think you go to heaven if you take your life, and you'll be happy and at peace for once. It seems like half the people think that, and then half the people think you'll go to hell if you take your life. Which, who knows which one's true, honestly. It's honestly pretty hard to find out which one's the truth. But, if I had control, if I was in control of what happens to people after they take their life, I wouldn't make people rot in hell, nor would I make people spend the rest of eternity in heaven at first. What I'd do is, I'd bring all the people that took their life, I'd bring them back on this world and make them have it way easier than they did in their last life. So an example of what I mean is, if there's some dude that takes his life in his early or mid-30s, and the way his life was going right before he did it is he had dyslexia, he had really bad anxiety and depression that gave him severe emotional distress, and he was living at home because how bad his brain worked, how bad his mental health was, made it really hard for him to hold a job and be able to be self-sufficient. A lot of people didn't understand him, bullied him, treated him badly, and he did what he did because of all that stuff. I'd make it to where they end up being brought back on this world, and for him, for that dyslexic guy, I make it to where he's brought back on the world, no dyslexia, his mental health's alright, he doesn't struggle with anxiety or depression, he does really good at everything he does. By the time he grows up, he makes a lot of money. And yeah. I do something like that. Because I know those dudes at the church told me it'll get better whether it's in this life or eternity. I thought something like, well, if it never gets better in this life and by the time I die, it ends up being better when I'm in heaven, at least it'll get better. At least I'll be able to experience some happiness, joy, and peace. But I want to be able to experience all that stuff while I'm on this world. I want to be able to experience all the things I want to experience right now. Like, an example of one of them is making enough money to be able to support myself, pay all my bills, and even be able to spend money on fun things from time to time. That's one of the main things I want to experience. Having a career where I make enough money to be able to do all that stuff. And, yeah. So, that's what I'd do if I was in control. And, since 2023, when my mental health was the worst, things have definitely gotten quite better since then. Like, for a little bit in 2024, it definitely got better. But then for a little bit, it got worse again, but still not as bad as before. And ever since I quit my addiction, it's gotten better again. Things still aren't as good as I want them to be, but they've definitely still gotten better for the most part. And, I really struggle with thoughts of taking my life since like maybe 5 months ago or something. But I do struggle with depression from time to time still, and a tiny bit of anxiety. But yeah, it's definitely gotten better. So I'd say that's about it. Thanks for watching, and I'm out.